All right, I want to take you now straight to Limpopo, the African National Congress. President Cyril Ramaphosa, a short while, teed off at the annual ANC anniversary Golf Day today. But I understand, there we go, Mr. President, head down, sir, head down. Let's go now live to a press briefing by Mr. Pule Mabe, ANC spokesperson. Let's listen in.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we did speak to the media yesterday. A statement has been issued, a joint statement by the African National Congress and the ANC Women's League, really detailing what would have happened. The president would have left the event at the request of the president of the ANC Women's League, because the event itself, like our fundraising activities to steal from you, was oversubscribed. We had many people, and we did not want that event to become a super spreader. There are lessons that have been learned. The ANC Women's League is arranging with the president for an alternative date where that lecture could still be delivered, because Mama Lilian Ngoyi is an important part of the ANC Women's League. So there was no security threat. It is actually laughable if people think like that, because those who had come to the event, even when the event was not proceeding, were still loitering around and left much later. So there was no security threat at all.
Mr. Mabe, when you look at the State Capital Commissioner's report, it details a web of a generally corrupt relationship between politicians and business people. Are you, as the ANC, having this fundraising gala dinner, also circumspect and conscious of this state capture report, and especially after the inputs of your own former President Thabo Mbeki in the National Executive Committee meeting on the scale of corruption in the governing party? Generally, it's perceived that there may be a general corrupt relationship between business people and politicians. Here you are, hand in bowl, begging for money from business people.
Well, Samkele, I don't know, you're not a member of the National Executive Committee. It's actually laughable that you want the spokesperson of the ANC to come and rubber stamp gossips that you hear on the streets. We need to be given some bit of respect. You know, you don't sit in the National Executive Committee. Whoever would have briefed you, I don't know where they get that from. So I'm not even going to try and legitimize all of these things by responding. The ANC will issue a statement, speak on its own behalf after tomorrow when the president speaks, because the NEC that had said yesterday was actually a special session. It had to do with our January 8th statement. So everyone who made an input, whether it's former President Thabo Mbeki, anyone in the National Executive Committee, whether it's Fikile Mbalula, all of those, because once the NEC rises, the NEC pronounces on decisions. The NEC never pronounces on discussions that takes place in its own meetings, just to assist you. But again, to help you understand, some of the people, especially the ones that you saw teeing off with the president, they are not even doing business with government. They are mostly in the retail space. I think that we need to correct a notion of a scarecrow, where we are trying to scare people from associating with the ANC. The media must avoid being seen to be actively participating in such a program, because the media is not a political party. Your job is to disseminate information objectively, honestly, and accurately. Of course, hold us to account, because we are a governing party. You know, we endorsed the establishment of the State Capture Commission. We did so at the 54th National Conference of the African National Congress. When the first part of the report was released, we were the first political party to issue a statement welcoming such a move. Of course, the ANC will study what comes out of such, and if there are issues that the ANC need to really express itself on those, it shall do so. What I'm going to request that we do, because we are really now in a jovial mood, festivities, observing our 110, that at least for today and this weekend, accord us that, allow us to be in that lavish mood of celebrating our anniversary. We are just asking that from yourselves, please.
Mr. Mabe, contrary to what you say of having a lavish weekend celebrating your birthday, your own NEC members, especially Mam Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, speaking in that NEC yesterday, said at the top foremost of the NEC state. Well, let me finish, Pule. Mr. Mabe, Mr. Mabe, Mr. Mabe,
You are asking yourself those
Mr.
questions
Mabe, it's fine, Mr. Mabe.
Okay. So you are doing them for the benefit of the viewers, so that the viewers of the SABC can now know that you have got moles in the NEC of the ANC.
Mr. Mabe?
No, I'm just saying you are doing it so that...
Let's not have a back and forth. The question is, was there a point raised in the NEC that what happened in Parliament, the burning of Parliament, the smashing of the windows in the Constitutional Court, must be at the four first points of the NEC statement, the General Aid statement of your own party, to be issued out by the President on Saturday? Well,
you will hear tomorrow. Actually, Samkele, for the benefit of the viewers whom you want to know that you have got people who leak information to you, for their benefit, tomorrow when the President speaks, he will be detailing that statement of the African National Congress, statement of the National Executive Committee, because he speaks on our behalf. So every other thing that shall have been expressed in the NEC that would have made it into the statement will then be conveyed through our president tomorrow. For now, it's a wait and see. You are here to cover our January 8 activities. So tomorrow you'll have an opportunity. The SABC, like all other broadcasters, will have an opportunity to be able to cover us live as it happens.
Well, that is the spokesperson of the ANC, Mr. Pule Mabe.
We must not forget to indicate. We must not, Palan, we shouldn't forget to indicate that we should not forget to indicate that there's been a bit of time changes as well. The ANC Youth League event, the Peter Mokaba Memorial Lecture, will now be held at 3:30, where the president will be delivering the lecture, and then at Jack Waters Hall, and then later on we will have the gala dinner at the range. And we're also trying to make sure that we make arrangements for the media to also be part of that. Party. And tomorrow we'll also be making arrangements that the president, after he has addressed the public, does engage with the media on a one-on-one basis.
So, Zizi got to pull David Mahlobo and pull the president out of the venue again?
Well, Samkele, you always like trying, eh? You always like trying. It was not Zizi.
There's no room for that. There's no room.
That is the ANC spokespeople, Donald Salamlele of Limpopo, and Pule Mabe, the national spokesperson. Very cagey there and very defensive when it comes to the discussions of the National Executive Committee, where the former ANC President Thabo Mbeki was very scathing on ANC, NEC members and former ministers implicated in that State Capture Commission report, which has found that indeed there was state capture in the country. And some NEC members in that National Executive Committee meeting saying that what happened in the National Assembly with the burning of Parliament must be at the very top of the National Executive Committee statement, which gives umkombandlela to all party members and gives guidance as to what South Africans can expect in the State of the Nation address to be delivered by the President in the early weeks or early days of February, and also saying that the destruction of the windows in the Constitutional Court, in the words of the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamula, is tantamount to undermining the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, saying those 2 points, which was a huge sentiment within National Executive Committee members, that Parliament, the Constitutional Court destruction must be at the very top of the National Executive Committee statement, as the ANC must not be seen to be inward looking at its own internal affairs, but also when it comes to the issues of national importance in the country, especially with what is transpiring in the country coming from the July unrest. We are also told that the Provincial Secretary of the ANC and KwaZulu-Natal, Mdumiseni Ntuli, spoke in that NEC meeting and spoke extensively about the July unrest also not being left out in the National Executive Committee statement, going as far as to saying that the racial tensions that exist and permeate within the province of KwaZulu-Natal between the Indian community as to what had happened within the so-called Phoenix massacre, in the words of the provincial chairperson and premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala, and other members members of parliament like Mamkawula, who did go to that area, that those racial tensions and the killing of innocent black people at the hands of some people within the Indian community in Phoenix must be also at the top front of the National Executive Committee statement to be issued out by the ANC president on Saturday at 1 o'clock at the old Peter Mokaba Stadium.
Yeah, we shall see what's at the top of that January 8th statement there. Tomorrow, as you mentioned, at 1 o'clock, the official program kicks off at about 11:30 or so. Samkele Maseko, live for us there. Thank you very much indeed.